JWLC Leather again. Today we're going to be working on a designer bracelet. These are very simple, there's no tooling, except I'm going to be using different types of leather today, and riveting and glue and that sort of stuff. So I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope you can do this yourself. It's very simple, so let's get started. Alright folks, I'm measuring out a piece of leather here. So the kind of leather that I'm using here is called Kodiak leather, and no, that doesn't mean it comes from a bear. It's just the way that the leather hide itself is treated. It's still cowhide, but it's oiled with the stain all the way through the leather. It actually makes the leather really super soft, and it's a perfect leather for wearing as a bracelet because it feels really nice against your skin. So I use that roller there, the long one, when I use the roller cutter to cut out the length of the or a length of leather. But the biggest reason I use that ruler is because of the width of the ruler. I think it's about 2 3/4 inch wide, so it's almost kind of like a perfect width for a cuff like this. So what you just saw me do there is mark out where the length of the bracelet, and I think with these ones I made them 8 inches, and so all I'm going to do here is go ahead and use this L bracket roller here, or some people call it a square roller, just to go ahead and cut out. Now that piece I just set to the side, it simply just wasn't going to be long enough, so I'll use it for something else. I do tend to keep all my scraps, and eventually they get used somewhere else for another reason. So tell I'm doing narration to this video instead of in the garage, actually using the camera to record all the audio. So I've already got a pre-cut piece of another piece of leather here, that cream color leather that you see. It's actually sheepskin, and it has a foil on the top that makes it look like a dragon skin or snake skin. This is really good leather. One of my clients gave it to me as a bonus for doing a job for him. So all I did there is I just traced out the outline of the leather piece that I'm going to be using on the top. So what I need to do is I need to glue it. So I'm going to use this contact cement here. I got it at Candy, and I'm going to carefully just apply it to both pieces, let it get tacky for a moment, and then go ahead and glue it down. This is a pretty basic thing to do. You just want to be very careful when you're doing this. So just taking my time, and going as carefully as I can, try to stay within the lines, Just like you tell your kids, color within the lines. Same thing with the glue. And I do recommend that you do it in a ventilated area, because this stuff stinks. And the fumes they're pretty potent. So I do recommend that you do it in a ventilated area. So when I'm doing the top piece here, the one thing I'm going to try to be careful of is to not actually move the leather around on the paper bag that I have cut out and I'm using as a scratch surface. The reason being, and you'll see that how I'm moving it away from where I last glued, and that's so it doesn't the glue doesn't get onto the top surface if I accidentally move it around, because I'm actually spreading it all the way out to the sides. So I've got both sides here glued, and they've been tacked up pretty good, or got tacked up. that tacky up. Who says tacky up? It got tacky, and so I'm going to placing the two together, and now I'm going to actually tap down to give it a better seal. And there I go. See how fast I hammer? It's awesome. And now I've got those two pieces sealed together. Give it a moment to bond up a bit. So what I'm going to do right now is I've got this plate, and I get my plates all over the place. I'll get them at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or any craft store or even craft fairs. So I just need to mark the holes where I'm going to rivet the plates onto, or the plate onto. So I'm just lining it up, and I have it's a pin. It's actually a special leather pin here, and it has like a silver foily kind of look to it. So it doesn't really work very well on veg tan. I mean, it does actually; it shows up great, but it won't wipe off on the sheepskins or the finished leathers. It'll wipe off just fine. Just use a very mildly damp rag, and it'll wipe right off. Be punching holes into the leather. I mean, I can make summer corrections with the pin, but I can't make any corrections of the holes after I punch the holes. So, not that this is a large piece. I mean, it's pretty easy just to eyeball what you're gonna, where you're gonna be punching your holes. But and that top leather there, you can make whatever kind of design you want. This is just a simple design that you know, I like to use. And you know, try to keep in mind that's going to be going around a person's wrist. So it's not like all this is going to be right on the top of their wrist. You know, it's going to wrap around too. So I'm just going to finish punching up the outside holes here, and the rivet holes for the plate that I'm going to be riveting on there. So you need to make sure that you're gonna have enough rivets, the right kind of color rivets, whether they're going to be brass or nickel. And I'm also going to be using eyelets. And so right here I'm going to be punching some holes, some larger holes for the eyelets I'm going to be using. And I mean, that's pretty much it. You just kind of hammer a bunch of hole in there. And so if you're following along and doing exactly as I'm doing, I mean, that's kind of what it should look like. So now I'm taking a corner tool or a round tool. It's just a quarter of a circle, and I'm just curving the corners off, give it a little bit more finished look. Because after I get done doing that, I'm going to go ahead and punch holes. I'm going to use the same tools I did for the eyelets, because I'm going to use eyelets on the ends instead of snaps or buttons, and a leather strip to secure the bracelet on the wrist. So it's just, this Kodiak hide is actually pretty tough stuff, so you don't need the eyelets for that, but it just gives it more of a finished look. So that's what I like to do. You don't have to do it, but that's what I like to do. Coincidentally, if you hear little scratchy sounds, the microphone on my beard, I'm using my iPhone microphone to record this audio, so I'm sorry about that. So here I'm just popping in the eyelets, and these ones are a nickel antique eyelet that I'm using. And so you have to get this tool that I'm holding here. It's a setter tool, and you have to use this little anvil that I'm holding and tapping on the marble here, and line it up. The top of the eyelet there will actually sit perfectly inside of the anvil. Now remember, the anvils are all different sizes. So you just got to make sure you're using the right one. And the setter tool, you have to use the right setter tool too. So usually any leather shop, they'll be able to help you get the right tools for what you need. Especially if you buy the eyelets and the anvil and the setter tool at the same time. So here I'm just popping in the male pieces of rivets around the outside. Those, I think it was about 8 holes that I punched. Now these are not the same rivets I'm for. Yeah, the 8 there. Not the rivets I'm going to use to put in or secure the plate to the leather. These ones are a little bit shorter. I don't know the exact size, but I am going to be using a little bit longer rivet for the plate. So I had just put on all the female ends or the tops. I'm using another setter tool to set these rivets, and it's a pretty simple thing. You just want to make sure you're holding up the setter tool straight up and down. So now I'm going to start doing the plate. Now, I didn't film this part because I didn't think about it. But the plate, the holes are just a little bit too small for the rivets to fit through. So I just put the plate in my vise, and I use a metal drill down or drill out the holes to where the plate will actually fit through it. So these particular rivets are a little bit larger. Even the bases of the rivets are a little bit larger, and the top of the rivet head, the female end, is a little bit larger. But it makes it to where it just snaps right in. You don't have to fight it for length. You're not going to smash the rivet head on top of the plate itself. And these are antique nickel rivets that I'm using here. And so you'll notice how the plate's got a curve to it, so I'm using the edge of my marble. That way I don't bend it or break anything. So yeah, you can see how it's all curved there. So it's just easier to just set it on the side there. And I'm using the same setter tool. Don't need a new tool for that. I do wish they made those a little bit longer. I've been looking for one. I haven't been able to find one though. Yeah, this is pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory, and voila! There we are. It's a pretty cool bracelet. It will fit almost anybody. So I'm going to use a little bit of Kodiak lace here. Or no, this is Latigo lace, I'm sorry. And I'm using about 12 inches. And I'm just going to lace it through, a very simple lace through the eyelets. And give it one simple knot. And it'll be done. So like I said, this is a pretty simple bracelet to make. I mean, there's no tooling. There is a little bit of technical use when you're gluing, but if you want to call that technical. But this came out pretty nice. I sell these for $35. And I actually sell a lot of these. They feel, like I said, they feel very nice against your skin. And yeah, thanks for watching. And I hope you hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you dislike it, hit the dislike button. And leave a comment below. Thanks again.